Hey, this is John Fernay, the co-host of the Maryland Crabs, and I am here today with a Maryland Crabcake for your listening pleasure. What's a crabcake? It's not quite a full episode, it's just a little snippet. Stay tuned and check it out. And make sure you check us out on themarylandcrabs.com. You can follow us on Twitter at MD Crabs Podcast, or find us on Facebook at the Maryland Crabs Podcast. And don't forget, subscribe, rate us, iTunes. Go there now. We're here at Bread and Butter Cafe, which is absolutely, without a doubt, hands down, the best quick place for breakfast or lunch in Eastport with the best view. Hands down. And we are with Rear Admiral Frank Thorp, who is retired from the Navy. Doesn't look admiralish this morning, but we're sitting here over coffee and a sandwich with egg and bacon and cheese. And we're here to talk about something incredibly cool thing, and everybody needs to put this on their calendar. Put down November 17th, and it's still a couple weeks away. Put it on your calendar. You must see, and probably the week before, because the USS Sioux City is coming into town. And it sounds like a Phil Collins song, but it's not.
Yeah, John, it is literally going to be a memory of a lifetime. Is that as the USS Sioux City pulls into Annapolis on November 10th, the ship is the size of a World War II destroyer, so it's about 387 feet long. So as it comes down the river, turns around and moors up against the Naval Academy seawall, it will be a sight to be seen here in Annapolis, Maryland.
Well, we've known about this for a while, and you guys have teased Annapolis for a while. Okay, this was supposed to happen like a year and a half ago, it seems, and then it was like we can't get it out of the ice, and we had delays and this and that, which is, I think, notorious for when you build anything custom, and this is certainly a custom ship. But the USS Sioux City is coming to Annapolis, and it's going to be commissioned, and it is the very first warfare-capable ship that was commissioned. There was one other smaller ship that was commissioned here in Annapolis at one point, but this is like the first big deal.
That's right, John. There was a patrol craft commissioned here back in the 80s or 90s. Not really big open to the public or anything like this. This is the first major warship ever commissioned in Annapolis, and it can happen because the littoral combat ships only draw 13.5 feet of water. Destroyers and submarines that anchor out in Annapolis roads, they take about 30 feet of water. So the littoral combat ship can tie right up against the seawall. So Annapolitans will be able to visit the ship the week before and then see quite frankly, the most patriotic event you'll ever see in your lifetime, the commissioning of a U.S. Navy ship.
More patriotic than the bicentennial celebration in New York?
I would say it's up there. You know what I mean? I do say sometimes, the inauguration, presidential inauguration, the peaceful transition of power in our country, is up there in the bicentennial. This is one of those things where, the ship will be dressed up in red, white, and blue. Navy band will be playing. The crew will be in formation during the ceremony. And then when the order's given, bring the ship to life and the crew runs aboard. I got to tell you, even the toughest guys, even you are going to get chills up and down the back of your spine when they do this.
I cry when I think I hit a squirrel when I'm driving up the road. But, okay, so walk us through what's going to happen. Okay, this ship is going to come up the Chesapeake Bay, presumably. It's not going to come through the C&D Canal. You said it is going to be arriving on Saturday, the 10th of November now at this point?
That's exactly right. So we were planning on her coming in Wednesday, and as you were saying, the continual changes that we've gone through have been a real challenge, and really appreciate everybody's patience. For instance, Eastport Yacht Club was going to do a whole lot of things, as well as City of Annapolis. We were going to do touring for youth the previous week. That's had to be canceled because of the ship's delay. So she'll come in on the 10th, which is Saturday before Veterans Day, most appropriate. So the ship will be here for Veterans Day, and then we'll do a week of festivities leading up to the big day on Saturday.
Okay, and to see the ship, we obviously have to walk into the Naval Academy. You have to have proper ID, and if I think you're from Montana, you're screwed if you've got your driver's license or some crazy thing like that. But you have to have your proper ID to get onto the Naval Academy. It is open to the public. And where will it be, and how can we see the ship? And are there photo ops?
Absolutely. So as you said, you can walk onto the Naval Academy with a photo ID, and then the ship will be tied up at Dewey Field, which is between Santee Basin and the Naval Academy Bridge kind of area, the sailing center.
So if you've watched the Blue Angels perform, the public thing on the Naval Academy, it's got the track and the...
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly where it'll be. So walk on over there. We'll publish the times for public touring. We're sorting those out right now.
Okay, so we can actually get on the ship.
You'll be able to. The public will be able to tour the ship and be able to take pictures.
Can we drive it?
No.
I mean, it's not a Navy ship yet, technically.
Well, no, but the only reason we won't let you drive it is this ship, incredibly, will do 50 miles an hour. It's designed to go fast and go in shallow. And when I say fast, it'll do 50 miles an hour.
Wait a minute. All right, now
50.
this is something 50.
Yes.
Okay, and that's like 100 miles an hour on the water.
That's exactly right, John. It's actually powered by it's a jet ski. It's powered by water propulsion system. It doesn't have propellers. It's pretty high tech, and so it is. It's designed to go chase small boats off Iran kind of thing. It's designed to go in and chase diesel submarines that are real quiet. It's designed to take care of pirates. Remember the piracy thing we had years ago?
We still have that, don't we? Isn't that still an issue, the piracy?
It's not as bad an issue as it was off Somalia for some time because the pirates thought that they could take advantage of shipping, and shipping got wise to them and now has security on commercial shipping. So it's really piped down, but it is still an issue in a lot of areas of the world.
So this 50-mile-an-hour ship is going to be doing 50 mile an hour, except when you get into the Severn, because that's a 6-mile-an-hour no-wake zone.
So, and the commanding officer has promised me that he will conform to the speed limit. So it'll be coming in pretty slow.
Is there any hoopla with the ship actually coming up into the bay and into Annapolis on the water as it arrives? I mean, I know sometimes when you see new planes that are commissioned, they've got the fire departments with the water cannons going and everything else. Is there going to be a flotilla or anything coming up with the ship?
So there won't be a formal flotilla. We do expect, as we get the word out that the ship is coming in on Saturday afternoon, that boats will go out and greet the ship. And being wise mariners, we're asking people to stay, keep a good distance, and the Coast Guard will help with that. But the hoopla is there definitely will be hoopla. Eastport Yacht Club is all over this. They're going to render honors from the deck of the Eastport Yacht Club.
Okay.
And the ship will return honors. The crew will be manning the rail at attention, and they'll salute back to the people at the Eastport Yacht Club. There'll be tugs.
And when you say honors, you're talking about cannon fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the Eastport Yacht Club will shoot the cannon off, and the ship will not fire a cannon back. Okay. I think that would be a little scary here in the city of Annapolis.
I give Gavin something to do.
Well, there you go. And then Eastport Yacht Club is coordinating exactly like you said, tugs spraying water and things like that. So it'll be as she comes down the river, it'll be a big deal.
Okay, that's and that. If anybody wants to watch that, I would probably say the Eastport Bridge is probably a good vantage point, or some of the end parks in Eastport. The yard of the Naval Academy.
The yard of the Naval Academy is one of the best views, I think.
Right there at the seawall.
Yeah, right there at the point of the seawall would be a great place to see it, or anywhere along Farragut Field there, the trees as the ship passes by. And then our plan is to give the ship a great greeting when she ties up to Dewey Field. So if people want to come down and welcome the ship on Saturday afternoon, it'll be a great sight to see as they tie up.
Okay, now to get on board and tour the ship, do we need tickets? Do we just show up? There will be times that I know the initial preliminary schedule that we published on Annapolis said that it had there was like 9:30 to 10:30 and whatnot. And I know those are obviously flexible because we're so far out. But is it just sort of general admission, come and go, wait in line, get on, and take a tour, or they're ticketed?
No, that's exactly right. General admission will be stand in line. And John, we'll get you those times as we formulate them with the change in the schedule. But you figure between Monday and Thursday of that week, there'll be setup tours, specific, not private tours, but arranged tours. But there'll also be public touring, where, as you say, to stand in line to be able to tour the ship.
Okay.
And quite frankly, just coming down to the seawall and seeing the ship, it's going to be pretty awesome. Think about a YP, a huge YP. Is what it's going to be.
What's YP?
The yard patrol craft that we see up and down going up and down the river, training the mids how to drive ships.
Okay. Friday is a day for big shots and muckety mucks and like admiral-looking people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And then Friday night, we'll do a big reception at the Naval Academy for the sponsors. John, we've had to raise a lot of money to be able to pull this off, including putting together a legacy fund for the ship.
Wait a minute, tax dollars aren't doing this?
So tax dollars do not pay for this event in any way, shape, or form. So the Navy, back in the early 80s, decided that commissionings would be done in ports up and down the east and west coast for an opportunity for the public to see and appreciate a ship commissioning. And as part of that, the Navy said if they're going to be events in the community, it's not a good use of taxpayer dollars, that we ought to put together committees, and the committee ought to go raise resources. And so we've been working for the last couple months to raise money, and to pay for the events. Also, we'll pay for recognition for the crew. The crew is handpicked, best of the best. And then we're creating this legacy fund, which will be education opportunities for the crew for the life of the ship.
Okay, so then the ship itself is paid by the tax dollars.
Absolutely.
And the crew's salary, obviously, is when they take, they're obviously in the Navy.
Yeah.
But everything else that's surrounding it is raised from you. So what's involved with sponsoring ship?
So the event itself on Saturday is open to the public, and you can register and get tickets on our website. You can register and get free tickets, general admission tickets. We'll close down that website. We figure beginning of the week. We're nearing capacity now. Sponsorship starts at $100 and up, and gets you preferred seating during the event. And sponsors at $1,000 and over get invited to the chairman's reception on Friday night at Dahlgren Hall, which is going to be a really great event. It's called Taste of Annapolis. Annapolis Collections Gallery has donated art to decorate Dahlgren Hall, so it's going to look really cool.
Catherine's got some great stuff up there. I know she's got a lot of old, large art.
Yes, and art that quite frankly, John and I grew up here in Annapolis, and I've seen a lot of the old art. I love it. And she's got some art in there that she's going to bring down that, quite frankly, I don't think a lot of Annapolitans have seen. Some of it is when the federal government came in and took some of Annapolis and made it into the Naval Academy, like Hawsey Fieldhouse.
Oh wow!
And she's got deconstruction of the houses there in the beginning of the construction. Catherine at Annapolis Collections Gallery has been a tremendous support to this event.
Well, is that a fancy deal on Friday night, or
it's not fancy? Maybe a sports coat kind of thing. It's Annapolis. And so we're not trying to be, hoity-toity. We're not trying to be admiral-like, as you said. There'll probably be some people in coat and tie, but a sports coat would be fine. And the other neat thing I guess I want to say is the community really has come out in force to support this. Katzif Brothers has just committed. They're going to donate all the beer for all the events all week. So we're going to do a cruise. Watermark has donated the Catherine Marie, their largest tour boat.
Okay, so you picked two of probably some of the best, I'll say, sponsors in the city. Two of some of the greatest benefactors between the Goslins and the Hartmans and the Katza families.
Yeah, it is really great to see that kind of support in the city of Annapolis, as well as the groundswell of support who are coming as general admission attendees and sponsors at the $100, $500, and $1,000 level. The city of Annapolis really is turning out, and it's a great opportunity. It quite frankly, is a memory of a lifetime to see a ship commissioned at the Naval Academy in our hometown. It may never be able to be seen again.
Okay, well, Sioux City, we've got this sort of now, I don't want to say it's forced upon us, but we've got this sort of sister city relationship here. I think before we started recording, I said, we're kind of bipolar because we got Sioux City and Annapolis, which explains a lot of how Annapolis works. But on Saturday, after the commissioning, now, the commissioning is early in the morning. It's 9:30 to 10:30.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Yep.
And that's going to happen at Dewey Field on the Academy, right there along where it's moored.
That's exactly right.
Moored? Tied up?
No, moored is perfect.
Okay, good. You're the Admiral, not me.
No, so but you got a Navy jacket on. You get it.
Yeah, but it's Nike. It's not the Under Armour. So So after this now, there's going to be another reception in Dahlgren Hall.
Yeah, so after the commissioning ceremony starts at 9, we'll have remote parking for people who are not close and can't walk in, and that comes with a general admission ticket. We're arranging parking, and then we'll bus people into Dewey Field. Commissioning ceremony at 9, and then walk over to Dahlgren Hall for the commissioning reception. We expect about 2,500 people there, and that's a real opportunity to honor the crew, recognize the crew, and the theme of that reception is a taste of Sioux City. Sioux City's a big a food hub, beef processing, pork processing, chicken. 40% of the Girl Scout cookies sold in North America are made in Sioux City, Iowa. Bunny.
Are they bringing Girl Scout cookies?
They are. Blue Bunny ice cream.
Okay.
Blue Bunny ice cream is made there in the Sioux City area. They've got the largest ice cream refrigerator in the world. I wanted to get an apartment and live there. It's huge. It's really neat. Jolly Time popcorn comes out of there. So we'll do a big taste of Sioux City reception there. And again, Katzif Brothers will be donating the beer. Katzif Brothers is all excited because they're going to put some local, unique bartending bar set up to serve beer.
Oh, fantastic.
And then after that, John, the neat thing is that's a home football game.
Right.
So after the reception.
Not that anybody's excited about that after this season, but that's okay.
Well, hey, we always got to root for the home team, right? But the cool thing is the march off will leave the Naval Academy, so you'll have the opportunity as the reception winds down to watch the midshipmen march off from the Naval Academy, kind of an opposite view of what we normally
what you typically see at a football game.
Yeah.
And Navy does take on Tulsa, which is a game they might win.
Well, when you look at the schedule, it's pretty tough, and that is one of the games that we ought to win.
Tulsa and Tulane are the two that we might be able to do. But boy, I tell you, between by the time this airs, Notre Dame may have already been played. But then you've got the Army, who is on fire, and then Cincinnati and
Army took Oklahoma into overtime. Number 5 ranked Oklahoma at the time.
That was like a triple overtime last week,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Or double or triple. I know it was. It was like wow.
Yeah.
So we've got some tough games ahead of us, that's for sure. UCF and Cincinnati and Notre Dame. So we'll see. I don't think we're going bowling anytime soon.
We got to win 5 more games to go bowling, and that's a tough nut to crack.
Where do we get more information? Oh, one thing. How many people do you expect in attendance for the commissioning?
So we're expecting 5,000 people.
Okay, and is that going to be like standing room, or there are bleachers, or
there'll be seats set up and bleachers in the back. So the Naval Academy has worked hard to get as many people there, sitting there on Dewey Field as possible. The Chief of Naval Operations will be here. The Undersecretary of the Navy will be here to speak. And so to get tickets, you got to go to our website, USSSiouxCity.org. And we'll end up closing that website down, I think I might have said earlier, in the days ahead, because we're reaching capacity. So if people want to attend with general admission tickets or be a sponsor, really need to go on a website in the next couple days as we wind down to the end.
And again, the tickets for general admission are free.
Absolutely.
And sponsorships get you at the lower level, which start at $100.
Yep.
Get you really good seating.
Yep. That's right.
I would say front row, but close to front row seating.
That's exactly right.
If it goes up from there, then you've got admission into some of these VIP, where you can hobnob with it. Now, at what level do you get to drive the boat?
$1 million. Actually, I probably shouldn't say that. $100 million, because somebody might have won the Powerball.
I'm going to call to South Carolina and see if we can get somebody up here. I would love to see something like South Carolina, some guy from South Carolina whip that thing around at 750 miles an hour.
Exactly.
How many? I mean, you talk about this being a once in a lifetime thing, Frank, and certainly it's a once in my lifetime. I've never witnessed it or seen it, and you being in the Navy, I'm sure you have. Mm-hmm. But how many of these does the Navy do in a year, a decade? How many new ships come on board? And I could probably wiki that and figure it out.
No, that's a great question. We do about 10 or 12 commissionings a year. And the rough math is the life of a ship is about 30 years on average, and we have about 300 ships. So to do that, you need to build about 10 ships a year to replace those who are aging out. The Navy's building to 350 ships, so that number in the years ahead might go up to 12, 14. But when you figure 10, 12 ships a year and they're spread all around the country for commissioning,
it doesn't come around too often.
It doesn't come around. We did one in Baltimore 2.5 years ago. The USS Zumwalt was commissioned up there. And I think 5 or 6 or 7 years before that, the Sterret was commissioned up there, the USS Sterret. And matter of fact, the Eastport Yacht Club was real involved in both of those. They've kind of been a mainstay in being involved in that kind of stuff. And so, will it happen again in Annapolis 5, 10 years from now? Probably. The fact of the matter is cities compete to get this. Of note, Mayor Buckley has been all over this from the very beginning. Quite frankly, as a candidate, he was all over it. And he has been very supportive and very engaged, which is good for Annapolis, right? I'm not plugging, I don't mean to plug anybody, but the Navy looks at this and says, how does the city react to this? Does the city want to do this? And
didn't see Minot, North Dakota stepping up anytime.
Exactly. And the Naval Academy, this is a major muscle mover for the Naval Academy. They do a lot of events, and they do them really, really well. That's going to be a big day on the 17th of November to have a ship's commissioning here and at a football game. It's close to boat show, kind of, not boat show. But in my mind, it's bigger than the boat show because of all the work we're doing. But it'll be a big day.
So there you have it. You want to make sure that your calendar is set for Saturday, the 10th of November.
Right.
Get down there, watch this ship come in. Figure out a time to get in there and tour this ship, because I've never been on a naval warship before. You have, obviously.
I have been on a bunch of them.
Get one of the public tours there, and if you can, sponsor this thing. Whether it be a $100 sponsor, get a front row seat for the thing, or and $1,000 get into the thing. And I think it's really very cool that Sioux City has worked with Annapolis. I know that they're bringing their food and whatnot. I know there was a contingency from Sioux City, the Chamber of Commerce and the mayor and everything else were here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and John, I should have talked about that. The city of Annapolis, they talk about kicking in. So Sioux City is coming in mass. They're going to have more than 500 people here in town for the event, and the crew is going to be here, which is more than 200, and their families about another 100. And there's a program where the city of Annapolis businesses are signing up to give discounts to our visitors, and our visitors will all have red wristbands. We're going to put red wristbands on them, and so companies can sign up. We'd love them to donate, but hey, business is tough, and so we're not asking everybody to donate. But if they put if they sign up for the program, we'll have a brochure that says, go to McGarvey's and you get 15% off. That's actually a real example. And so when we'll put a brochure out, and I just really want to thank those businesses downtown who have really quickly, Boatyard, Bar and Grill, quickly signed up for it to give people from our visitors a discount. And that, again, shows how cool Annapolis is to be able to jump in and support, and to your point, the relationship between Annapolis and Sioux City.
Well, we do have the USS Sioux City is coming in here. I think there's a USS Annapolis. It's a submarine?
There is. That's exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And the bummer about it, the USS Annapolis is it can't tie up at the Naval Academy. It anchors out. And she's visited before.
Yeah.
And the crew, as you know, you I think hosted some of the people from the Annapolis when they came in and visited.
Right, and the Annapolis actually sent a banner when the Capitol had their shooting that's now hanging in their newsroom, which is really kind of cool, all signed by the crew there. Yeah. Real quick before we wrap up, I just want to talk about the crew here. This ship, 365. How many people are on this ship, and how is it staffed?
Yeah, so there's 100 people in the crew. So the Navy's worked really hard to use technology to reduce manning. So while a World War II destroyer might have had 300, 350 people on it, packed into that ship, now there's 100 people in the crew. And the ships actually have two crews. And both crews will be here in Annapolis for the commissioning, blue and gold, with the idea that the blue crew...
See, that's original.
Yeah, exactly, I know. We love those colors, right? And so the blue crew will be operating the ship while the gold crew trains. And then then they'll flip. So about 200 sailors will be here for the commissioning, and their families. A lot of families are coming up from Mayport, Florida, where the ship's going to be home ported, to come and visit Annapolis.
Okay, and those crews will be taking the cruise with Watermark.
Yeah,
which you said that's probably what's that going to be on Friday?
I think that's on Wednesday. And John, I just got to tell you how cool that is, because our whole goal is to treat the crew like rock stars. And I would ask people in Annapolis, when you see a USS Sioux City crew member, welcome them to Annapolis.
How do you identify them?
So I'm guessing they'll be wearing ball caps. I'm guessing they sometimes they'll be in uniform, sometimes they won't. But, I was in the Navy for 28 years, and people would always come up to me and go, "You're in the Navy, aren't you?" And
it's the haircut.
Exactly. and I think the way they carry themselves and all that kind of stuff. And so it might be easy to identify, might not be, hard to see the red wristbands and all that. But if you do meet them, I would encourage, just to welcome them. If you're in line at Kilwin's, buy them an ice cream. We pay our sailors adequate wages these days, but there's what makes being in the Navy unique today is the appreciation of the American public. So that's what this is about, that week in Annapolis, just to send that ship to sea feeling like they are rock stars as they go defend America's interests.
Well, they should. I mean, they're doing, I don't want to say it's a thankless job, because we certainly are very thankful for them, but I mean, they're doing one of the most dangerous and vital jobs anywhere.
Yep.
And they're going to some really bizarre places that nobody would ever probably want to go.
That's exactly right.
They're definitely worthy of respect and our thanks and our admiration, and damn it all, they're worthy of an ice cream cone at Kilwin's.
There you go.
So buy it. Okay, so there you go. Make sure you have your calendar set for Saturday the 10th to watch this ship come in. It's the USS Sioux City. It is coming in. The commissioning is going to be the following Saturday, the 17th. At 9 a.m. at Dewey Field at the Naval Academy. You can get on with an ID. It is free, but you do need tickets, and you need to go to USSSiouxCity.org. And for those that are spelling challenged, it's SIOUXCITY.
That's exactly right. Thanks, John.
.org. Rear Admiral Frank Thorp, with the RET after his name, retired. Thank you very much for your time this morning at Bread and Butter here in Eastport. You are an East Puerto Rican.
I am.
So that's
born and bred.
Made it very convenient to come here, and I don't need much of an excuse to come here. I am so looking forward to the ship finally. I know we've talked several times over the years about it. We talked with Mary Winnefeld, who's the ship's sponsor. We've talked to the crew. When the dates finally gelled and everything else, it's pretty neat. And then we're seeing it on Veterans Day weekend. Make a week of Navy. You've got the Veterans Classic over at Alumni Hall.
Yep.
And
that they've got Navy Maryland playing. That's going to be a big game. That's big for the Naval Academy to be playing Maryland in basketball here.
Get out, see the USS Sioux City. Thank the crew members as you see them walking around. You got 200 of them and their families walking around town for about a week. And definitely see this. It's once, maybe twice in a lifetime opportunity here in Annapolis. Doesn't come around much, and it's one of the things that makes this town unique.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate you helping get the word out in the community.
This has been the Maryland Crabs podcast with Tim Hamilton and John Fernay. Sure to follow them at all the regular places, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and online at themarylandcrabs.com. Take a moment to rate us on iTunes. Now, get the hell out of my kitchen. Seriously, go!
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.